Kiwis love being outdoors, so why not transform your outdoor living space with a sun view? With our quality range of stylish pergolas, outdoor blinds and awnings, having a sun view is like adding a new room to your home, but for a fraction of the price. Enjoy the outdoors all year round with a range of products to suit your needs. Book a free consultation now with Sunview and see the difference.
Supermarket shopping yesterday. Oh, Sundays. I wake with a dread. I hate going to the supermarket. A few reasons, because of the cost, of course, and the cost. And also it's like a kind of waste of 2 hours of my day. Anyway, I'm not alone. The climbing cost of food has been a growing concern for many Kiwis at the supermarket. And New Zealand's grocery market, as we know, is dominated by two main players, Woolworths and Foodstuffs. They hold more than 80% of the market share. We've got a duopoly. Economic Growth Minister Nicola Willis has announced a request for information aimed at gathering ideas from potential supermarket companies on what changes they needed to boost competition in the market. Alongside this, she's also sought external advice on how the current supermarket duopoly could be restructured. And while Willis has ruled out the government running a supermarket, her goal is clear: to see a third player in the market to add more competition. And of course, then it pushes prices down. She says forcing the supermarkets to separate would be very much a potential last step if the supermarkets don't propose something themselves or a third player just doesn't come in at that scale. She said it would be wrong to rush structural intervention without ensuring they're giving everyone the opportunity to share their views, and doing it this way with this formal RFI gives us an opportunity to flush out the options and get different views. One expert, though, has voiced his concern that the minister's announcement and he's not feeling too confident that this will lead to real change. Grocery policy expert is Ernie Newman, and he joins me now. Ernie, good afternoon.
Yes, good day, Leah.
Hey, look, nice to talk to you, Ernie. Can you tell us a little about your expertise first? I believe you were in the NZ Grocery Manufacturers Association for quite some time?
Yeah, way back, and you're talking, the 1980s. I actually was involved on the policy side of the grocery industry, but my more recent experience was being donkey deep in the breakup of telecom in the 2000s. So I've been there and done that on a couple of major competition issues where there's been what they call in the trade market failure.
Right. So the government's pushing for a third player in the market. Ernie, do you think that will actually make a difference, or is it wishful thinking?
Yeah, well, if a third player can be set up, I do think that will make a difference. And the reason for that is that it's commonly accepted that 3 is kind of a magic number. If you get two players in a market, they tend to not compete with each other. They just sort of have pillow fights and pretend, which is what we're actually seeing between Foodstuffs and Woolworths and have done for the last several years. They've both worked out that it's all very well to fight each other for market share, but they can make a lot more money by just accepting their current level of market share and increasing their margins. What they call in the trade tacit collusion. And so that's why we're paying, extortionately high prices for groceries, and so much of that is excess margins going to the supermarkets.
Look, I get that, bring someone in, bring in an Aldi, brawl somebody else, and it's like, yeah, great, this is awesome. But when you've got, Foodstuffs and Woolies that hold more than 80% of the market share, this third entity, I mean, Ernie, isn't it going to take them years to even get on their feet, to get them established? Or they come in with billions of dollars, and are they going to want to do that?
It's certainly not a 5-minute job.
No.
It will take several years to fix this. But you've got to take the first step. And I think the really good thing about Nicola Willis's announcement yesterday is that she has plotted several steps ahead. Yes, she's asked for more information. She's asked for requests for information from potential new entrants. Right. But she's put a tight time frame on that of 6 weeks, which is pretty tight. And she has flagged, and she's reiterated several times that enforced structural separation, as was done with telecom, is on the agenda if nothing else works. And she's also committed to getting some real results within the term of this government, which, of course, is late next year. So all of a sudden, there is a real sense of urgency coming into this. And, listening to Nicola Willis yesterday, I went into it feeling a bit sceptical and, heard all this before. But she came across as a minister on a mission, and I think she really does understand that there is a real problem here with failed markets. This is a $27 billion industry, and she understands that, that consumers are being ripped off mightily and that something needs to be done to restore competition.
Is the minister, she mentioned also structural separation, Ernie, if the supermarkets don't budge. I mean, how realistic is that, and what would that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's kind of been done before with telecom, and there are examples internationally as well under what's known in the trade as antitrust laws. It's a bit of a last resort, but, we have a last resort problem here. There is no way a new entrant can come into the market under the current conditions. No. Because the incumbents will just use their existing huge war chests of money to drive them out. So it is possible to do. Now, if you take, for example, the Foodstuffs group, they have what they call banner groups. They have Pack and Save, they have New World, they have Foursquare, and on the face of it, they all appear to compete against each other. But in fact, they don't, because there's one Mr. Big at the top who is making the decision. The can of apricots at New World today will be X, and at Pack and Save will be Y. Right. So there is the illusion of competition, but no real competition. So the sort of thing that could be done in a structural separation is to force those three banner groups into completely separate businesses that would not be allowed to talk to each other or collude with each other. That's one way. The other way,
sorry, Ernie, sorry to jump in. So Foodstuffs wouldn't have to sell them, would they? But they. So Foodstuffs.
Yes, they would. They would have to. Yeah, they'd have to.
So they've got to sell off Pack and Save, New World, and Foursquare. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And structure them into a completely separate business.
Right. Okay. And what was the other way you said?
And the other way to do it that's talked about a lot is to take the wholesale function that Foodstuffs run out of the retail one, so that would mean that the wholesale side, which effectively procures all the goods and sells them on to the individual stores, firstly, the wholesale company would be able to trade with other people other than the Foodstuffs members, and also that the Foodstuffs stores would be able to buy externally from other wholesalers or direct from manufacturers. So that's another way of doing it. So, while it's complicated and, it's not a process that any government is going to go into lightly, it has been done before in extraordinary circumstances, and we have extraordinary circumstances here.
Of those two that you mentioned, Ernie, what would you favour, the wholesale trade or the selling off of their arms?
I'll have a bob each way on that, to be quite honest. The old saying, the devil's in the detail. It's the detail of how these things are done that determines them. Excuse me. I think probably the quicker one of the two would be to divide off the wholesale part. The other complicating factor to this is, do you just deal with one of the two duopolists, or do you deal with both? Because
to be fair, you'd have to do both, wouldn't you?
Kiwis love being outdoors, so why not transform your outdoor living space with a sun view? With our quality range of stylish pergolas, outdoor blinds and awnings, having a sun view is like adding a new room to your home, but for a fraction of the price. Enjoy the outdoors all year round with a range of products to suit your needs. Book a free consultation now with Sunview and see the difference.